What is up, guys? It is the Redstone Scientist here, and today I'm here with my friend Tom to demonstrate a little concept for you that is probably going to be used in the Wesley map. If you don't know what that is, that's the revolutionary adventure map that Dragon014 and I are working on. More information in the description. But anyway, recently this is 1.9.3 pre-release 3, and in 1.9.3, they introduced a command that map makers have been asking for a really long time, and that is /stopsound. So you do the /stopsound, player, the source, and then the sound. Let's clear the chat. So, basically, I wanted to recreate a mechanic from Telltale games, because so much of our map is basically the player selecting dialogue choices, and that's going to change the world of the story. And so one of the things that Telltale does, if you sort of think back to maybe Minecraft Story Mode, is that while the choices are on screen for you to select, they have a little timer, right, showing you how much time you have left to make a choice, and characters are continuing to talk until you make your choice. Sometimes that happens, sometimes the game pauses, waiting for you to make a choice, but we wanted to be able to implement that so that the characters can continue talking, but you can interrupt them. So I took a monologue from The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams, and I recorded it, and let me show you an example. Whoops, that was not right. Whatever, it's fine. Let's just do this.
What do you think I'm at? Aren't I supposed to have any patience to reach the end of, Mother? You think I'm crazy about the warehouse? You think I'm in love with the content?
So at any time, we can
You think I want to spend
interrupt
55 years down there in that Celotex interior with fluorescent tubes?
Tom, listen.
What?
And Amanda is the mother, and so those last two lines aren't actually in there. Obviously, if we were doing this the full thing, we wouldn't be using a villager, we'd be using a more complex NPC, and we probably wouldn't be using the tell raw text. But that was just to help you with the demonstration. But if we do this again, you can see...
Aren't I supposed to have any patience to reach the end of, Mother?
Tom, listen.
What?
There are designated places within the monologue that I allow interruptions to happen. And it's actually really cool because, see, if we didn't do that, if we just had the button, or if we just had pushing the button make it so that the sound stopped, he might be cut off mid-sentence, and it would sound really bad. We want to have them interrupt at an appropriate place in the monologue. And so there are a whole bunch of places whenever there's a stop.
Aren't I supposed to have any patience to reach the end of, Mother?
Tom, listen. Well, we already saw that one. But it works really well, and I'm really excited to use it. And it uses similar mechanics to the way our NPC mouth animations work in Wesley. So I guess I could go over it just a little bit here. So basically, first, let me get a sword. The stop sound command is not a replacement for the music and transition fades that I did a video on a while back, if you remember that, because the stop sound command abruptly stops the sound. It doesn't make it so that it fades out, unlike my concept. Anyway, so this first block we have here, it just does the barrier particle, which I retextured to be a speech bubble. Then we have this respond armor stand. Now, what happens when you press the button, okay, a couple of things happen, but first, we set the voice tick score. This guy has a score of mouth, and we set the voice tick score to 0. Then we play the sound, and a few ticks later we do the tell raw. The tell raw command, only one of the choices works, by the way. It will execute at the respond armor stand, and it will set block data to auto 1B. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to execute this chain, and this chain first activates this command block here, this repeat command block. Then it's going to skip a whole bunch of lines so that we clear the chat, and then it's going to turn this command block back off. Okay? Now, this command block that was just activated is basically going to execute at the closest entity with the tag of mouth, which is the villager, score talking min equals 0, talking equals 0. Basically, whenever he's not talking, whenever there's a pause, whenever you're allowed to interrupt him, the score of talking is set to 0. And then we do stop sound, so it doesn't sound weird. Then, if that's successful, we turn the auto back off. Then we execute at the nearest player, listen, which is Tom, listen. Then we do the tell raw text. We set the mouth talking to -1 just to reset the whole system. Then we set the voice tick score to the maximum so that the monologue finishes automatically. We'll get to that in a minute. And then we use Brian Lorgon 111's area effect timing system. So here's the first command, second command, third command, just if you guys want to take a look at that. But basically, it just allows you to use area effect clouds for timing circuits, which we're using a lot. And if that's successful, basically it just, there's a delay, it activates this command block, which then has him respond what, and resets the system. Over here, every single tick, we add 1 to the voice tick score. So on the first tick that the sound starts playing, the score gets set to 1, okay, a voice tick. And then each tick, it goes up another 1. And that's how I'm able to identify, I look on Audacity using regular interval labels, exactly what tick I want the interruptions to happen on. It's actually quite fast. And basically, I write a text file with consisting of that data, and Energy XXer, I think that's how you say it, who is an expert on the Wesley team, has written a generator for us that then we paste in the text file that we wrote, and it generates all these command blocks for us, which basically, at different tick numbers in the play sound file, set the talking score to whatever we want. And so, instead of using the talking score to determine the mouth animations, like we normally do in the Wesley map, I'm using it to determine when we can or cannot interrupt him. So, like I said, this command block activates, and it's waiting for the next point where you're allowed to interrupt. Then it does the interruption. And I just think it's a really cool concept, and I think it's going to make the map a lot more interesting. It's going to make it feel a lot more alive. You know, if we didn't have this, then sometimes you would be in like a heated conversation, and there would just be this awkward silence while we're waiting for the player to make a choice, right? You know, then all of a sudden the action has to stop for the player to think about what choice they want to make. Now, it doesn't have to be timed, but, you know, the choice, it's not timed in this example, but it still allows the action to continue flowing so that it allows the action to have a continuous flow, if that makes any sense. Anyway, I'm really happy with the way this came out. We're probably going to be using it in Wesley a lot. Anyway, that is just about all I have time for today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment, or better yet, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to check out the jam-packed description for more science. And we are also still accepting build submissions for the Wesley contest that I regret calling a contest. That's a whole other story. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all next time.